Hello folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Gnomes. So today we're continuing this. I have a big change to, no, not big change, relatively big change to promote here in the next week. Already we're gonna jump some steps here for this card. I want to go directly to the rigging part. So this will be the last stream of this project in which I'll be doing some stuff here. And unless you convince me otherwise, but basically it's those things are maybe too boring, and we this is the big stuff that I think will be more interesting. So here this cartoony character inspired by my own style and dragon nest character design. So we're gonna get this to be yeah, the topology is already set for the feet, the hands. Oh yes, there are some shapes. So we are here, we need to fix the fixed geometry shapes character design. So this is like, let's go to layout. So what we need to do here is to conclude these shapes developments now that the mesh topology is more or less yeah, it's good to go. This is nearly more for the joint. So we're gonna get here, we're gonna also enable the grease pencil for the model sheet reference, and we see already that there are many weird positionings here that we can probably improve this with proportional editing. So many, yeah, here also should be good to do this from the side view. Here we don't have the good thing to develop this, so we need to hide this from the side and continue from here. Maybe we need to hide some more stuff here. Yes, this sounds reliable. So this probably you can get some better shapes here for the neck, the back of the neck. I always have a bit difficulty for the positioning of these vertices. The mesh topology also doesn't help a lot in this case to get, so maybe here we could get a better mesh topology even for a stylized character. I think there should be something better to match the model sheet. So for example, the anatomy shape, so maybe it's something like here, like you see a fascia that connects bone to the muscle. So this could be an interesting thing to get into sorry, to get better shapes, right, anatomical shapes. So here we can probably improve here. These are not looking good from the side. I think the side it's too large, this, right, this S scale on the along the y-axis. No, not for the whole arm, this can be dangerous. Just like maybe this face loops scale along the y-axis. Yeah, okay, something like that. Let's go back here and check, continue checking these things. Where can we improve? So this is like might not be the final step for these reshapements, but can be close enough. So the best we can, the closest here we can get to something good looking in terms of shapes, the more advantageous it will be for the rigging. Then if we need to do any other change, it will be probably closer to a final state, so we don't need to, it won't have some critical we won't have critical change to make, just some slightly change to make, slight change to make. We could get these shapes maybe a little more rounded. And these are not color for materials, these are just the cool trick that we can have the viewport display on some way. Of course, this will not work for a dual compositing using workbench, because then this will be the colors for the, unless every material has got an image texture that is not this color. That means that this will just appear as material, right, and not as texture. So this will allow us to theoretically to have both of the same world. This will be still annoying because we'll have to have like a color texture even for materials that don't need image texture. So we still need to have an image texture that will have like this color, whatever. Alright, so which shapes were missing? I think I didn't take note of those in the end. Yeah, there is nothing here, as just character design information. Yeah, so we are very close to finish this overall shapes. Of course, I would like to make it go deeper, right? But this is like, it never ends, right? You keep doing this, trying to do these improvements, I'll always find something that could be slightly adjusted. At some point you have to make peace with oneself and the mesh, right? And then decide, okay, that will be like this. So this is why low poly can be very hard sometimes. Okay, so I think this is looking good already. Let's hide this. And there was, I think, the back. Yeah, I remember here. Here we could make some improvements. Oh yeah, the shin part, I think this we are missing a lot of improvements here. We need to look from the, okay, here we see already a lot of problems here. So here we're gonna try to get this knee here, just about here. We're gonna smooth. Yes, this seems to be usable. Looks like we have some faces here that are behind. What is happening here? Back view. So apparently some faces here, yeah, could be extrapolated a little. Let's try to centralize this a little. Okay, side view here, and yeah, here we can try to align this. Okay, and here we can also try to align here. We see that the calf here, we could probably improve these tubular limbs. This is more for the joint region, so it's not so much for the shapes. although it also should help the shapes a little, but maybe here will require, it seems to be too sharp. I'm gonna bevel this, and we're gonna get this one maybe smooth here. Yeah, I think this will be positive. It's not that I wanted, usually I don't need this, but for some reason this character seems to be demanding. We could probably fix this without this face loop if we got the less of these edge creases there, but I'm not gonna create edge crease anomaly here. It just makes everything more complicated. They are hard to visualize, right? If they have different values, they're a bit hard to spot, and so this is why it can be it can make the organization of the mesh very complicated in terms of this edge data. The leg seems to be not aligned, right? Like, for example, even the model sheet don't seem to be very much aligned. Let's pull this to the, let's try to distort this a little. Okay, that seems usable. For the inverse kinematics, like, it's not that I keep on constraint or other things. It's not like this need to be straight. There are other ways to solve this. But if things are regular for rigging the mechanism, then this help usually is very helpful. This part seems terrible. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Maybe I shouldn't have touched this to start with. Maybe we need to change these positionings here. Don't think that I need any other face loop here, but yeah, if we wanted better shapes here, we probably, okay, we can also do this. This probably should help. This part of the, right, the anatomy here is more like shrinked. Even here we can do a little more. Okay, this seems nice. This foot is not properly aligned, right? So you can try to do this, for example, with this face, like SZ0, no, without proportional editing. GZ. Get this, yeah, so I'm gonna displace this again, but that's fine. So here, maybe yeah, so here will be more like stylistic choice. What we want here, of course, some things here could affect rigging, but in some horrid ways. Yeah, looks like we would need something, another face loop there, but too much, right? Don't gonna bother with this. Yeah, this is not I'm not liking this one. Okay, I think this should work. All right, then the arms, and then just a little of the fingers, and that should do. Then maybe we do some topology about the neck, the collarbone region. That this probably requires some improvement. why I'm doing this. So here you could look from the top view. You see that the arm seems to be very distorted here. GY. This we can all scale along the z-axis. No, scale along the. Okay, we need to. Alright, let's make this try to align a little here. Smooth this out, reduce this. Yeah, okay, looks fine. Try to smooth these ones. I'll get this mesh more aligned here too. So this topology here creates some unalignments that are maybe not very good. You see here, this is hard to control this mesh. We need, don't we have, oh yeah, we have this face loop, right? So I can smooth that, smooth that. Okay, this seems adequate. I'm not making like a great muscles here for this, the biceps, triceps, biceps brachialis. No, not making any more developed feature here. We could develop the topology to correspond to some of this, make some face loops adequated to one or even all of the muscles. But for this character, I think it's not necessary. As long as we can make can have some of these shapes. Now the forearm seems a little weird. I think the character design here, it is more like here. Sorry, that's good. This, then of course you need the 3D view to really scale here along the. She has some sort of short limbs, or yeah, it's her anatomy, her body type is like more chubby. At least in comparison to my typical character designs. So pick this and this face loops. Make some tilting here, and yeah, it's just an illusion because in part because this is also part of the forearm, so it's okay. Yeah, it seems a bit short, and to be fair, still, but again, it's the again, it's the character design thing, let's say. So now the shapes of the hand, I think I've already shaped this enough, but we could try to get some improvements over this. I don't know how I'm gonna do this for this finger. I think it will be maybe something about tilting the whole finger, like rotate along the, yeah, something like that. Okay, that saves the day. So let's try to get here, and here we okay, now for this one. And this one, rotate X, the world X-axis, right? Probably there's something weird about these nails. Here I see some strange shape. Yeah, something wrong here. I think this is below. Yes, something like this. I have to revise this from other angles, but it should be all this because I've decided to have these nails connected to the finger, so that creates some extra complications. But with the subdivision, that seems to be working, yeah. Hope that this is getting good. GG. Yes, that seems mostly acceptable. Then the thumb, we can do the same trick if I've not didn't do already. So here we don't have the cards. We'll have to use maybe the view. Rotate X. Yeah, rotate X. Let's do it like that. Yeah, might be incorrect, but it will, regarding the mesh, it will help make it looking better. Yeah. Yeah, we still have problems here. Maybe we need to do this again. Rotate X. Try to get this thing aligned a little better. Yeah, this mesh is just causing trouble for now. This stuff here. Fingers, right? It's very low poly fingers even. It's very weird. There are sure ways to do it look good and elegant and smart for rigging, but this is something I'm still ongoing research. So I've seen many things, like there's nothing like perfect. I need to find something that is adaptive to whatever the stuff that I do, right? There are a lot of things to take into account, but overall this should work, right? Should work for rig. What we could do here to improve the visualization, I don't know, like we could, no, yeah, we can pick these ones. Yeah, we can pick these face loops, for which are the borders of the joints, still part of the joints. Unfortunately, I have to do it manually here. I will be very angry and frustrated if, when I try to wave paint these things and get the bones in the indicated positioning from the pros, I'll be very frustrated if all these things don't get some slightly spontaneously good deforms from the skinning, from armature deform stuff. Yeah. Good, so we survived that. Let's get now the should we make the fingers more? Yes, there seems to be something wrong about these fingers. Gonna scale them, like scale along the, not like that. Okay, let's pick this active thing and let's use global. Let's use active element, scale along x-axis for this thing. I hope something was not left behind. No, apparently not. Okay, then we're gonna fix some stuff here. This finger here, probably can place it here. Okay, it still looks a bit weird. Let's see, maybe this is, can solve it. Just some there's nothing that I know can help here. They're not procedural fingers, right? So that could be a nice thing to do, right? Procedural fingers. That should be a good alternative if there was some easy way to get this thing. Okay, just getting these fingers, each one a better identity, right? And the thumb in relation to the rest, to the other fingers, it seems a bit too thick, right? So we're gonna okay, that's a little better. We can also try to okay, now I must not exaggerate. Maybe you see some weird orientation here. Need to fix that. Looks like now it's have need to twist it. Here it looks good. Here it looks okay. Yeah, here it doesn't look fine, so we need to twist it back. Yeah, so I'm gonna use the view, rotate along the X, something like that. Yes, that looks fine. Concentration. Okay, so I think that's it. Done. I'm done with this. That should be good enough for now, right? No more struggle here. That should be, yeah, all this is set. Okay, we can also get these face loops here, dying off in these trigones. Yeah, what color here? Oh yeah, the magenta overlapping. Really? Yeah, not ideal, but feasible. Okay, so I got these ones. Let's see these side ones, what they do. Yeah, that's actually very this one's a bit weird, but overall they're very, I think, very reliable face loops. Here, this area here, it's still a problem here for this. Oh, looks like we got some weird faces here. We can deepen this armpit here, maybe this too. Okay, then we're gonna need to improve something here. So I have these trigons here. I don't have the means to compare with my other character design right now. I've deleted it, but I'm gonna make something different this point. So we're gonna make the topology of the neck for this region here. I have some reference. I have to open here a file, and let's see, I'm searching here quick this reference utility. Sorry, you're not seeing anything here. We're gonna ref body topology body. Nah, they don't. I haven't saved them properly. I don't know where I placed them. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do this. They were not ideal anyways. So the idea is to bring something from the ear, the back of the ear. In this case, we could try just with the trigon here, right? And so like right behind the jaw, which has this edge crease here, this continuation here. So we're gonna bring this and gonna like try to cross this and make the sternocleidomastoid, which is really from the jawline. So it could be, yeah, it's all this here actually. So we're gonna bring this into the, is almost at the back of the neck. So you could consider here. So you got this. I'm gonna start by Shift T giving us 0.3 for these edge creases, right? So this is the face loop. We're gonna bring them red here. Why don't I have something here too? Okay, so here's the question. I need to, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this in relation to this, but we're gonna cross the neck topology, and we're gonna overlap stuff, and then we have to, it's not clear what will be the setup here, but we'll have to find out something. And so this should end in some way that yeah, probably this will collapse into some quad here, and so that means that this probably merge here. Okay, so here's the face loop. The face loop itself is working. What is not working are these trigons here. So this probably need to do something about these shapes. This will create some anomalies in the, will make some tricky things to solve here, right? So in terms of topology, so we might be left here with some issues, especially if we try to make these face loops. So here we end up with a trigon that I'm not sure if we can solve this easily. This could become something like that, but why would we do this, right? Looks weird. Why would we have more just to fix this? This is exactly the joint, so this is actually dangerous. So it's uncertain. So see, we're this is, it's solvable, but we need to be careful. Here we got this, and the cool thing about this topology that we can start to build some anatomic shape even for this this tendon or fascia or muscle. I don't know what it is exactly. Probably multiple tissues. So of course here they will be more flattened, but as it reaches for the neck here, so here we could probably, here we need to improve some of these shapes. It looks like we have an opportunity here to make another face loop. But this is the problem that I have now, because I don't have good stuff here for whichever extra topology that I make here. So I think this could be a solution. So here are starting to grow 2 face loops. We'll see where they will go, but apparently we can already start to build them. So this could help. We can maybe try to start. Yeah, we got better smoothing here. Let's see if we can pick this. Yes, 0.3. Yes, maybe. Yes, 0.3. Okay, so that decreases. This could be exaggerated. Let's reposition this. We have a few more geometry here to play with the shapes, although it won't really improve rigging too much, this thing, at least not in this character design. Is not, but we can, more than the sculptural shapes of the skinning, is the base shapes. So this we can use to improve some quality here of the base shapes. At least this won't be too bad. So what is this face loop? Layered face loop. We still have this one, so this is good. So this is like yeah, I don't like the way it goes. So like this thing, we could have another one for the neck, right? But we'll see how this is developing. Right now we seem that maybe we need another face loop in the center here. GG, let's see what you can get from here. So get this straighter. Let's get shifty 0.3. Let's get all this to the same amount of edge crease, just to stabilize all this. So we have this trigon. We need to do something about this. We have this trigon. Okay, so probably here we can subdivide here. So no more trigon here, but this starts to go like so. J, okay, so we have this, we have this. GG, let's try to expand this. GG. This is the of the sternocleidomastoid, so we're gonna get this in red. We could make some anatomic shapes here, but yeah, I wonder if this will be a great idea. Maybe here will depend which direction of bending we consider more important, but we could, I think this could help, maybe, right? So I'm not sure this will work for, in principle, an extra subdivision here should help the bending, but this could create a small artifact here. And the cool thing is that this face loop, no, it's just a little thing, right? It won't go all down, so the body, let's leave it like that, or maybe even so. These shapes could be a little difficult now to manipulate in the base shape. Need to try to align this as best as possible. So here the idea is to be to now start to sync this in some way that will make sense. This can be very difficult for wave painting later on, for texture painting these vertices. Very, I don't know if it is because of the mirror modifier, but yeah, this can. So here I have the collarbone, which is not very well defined right now, and I wonder what is going on here within the character design. Seems that this mesh is protruded more than it should. The chest is protruded in a wrong way, so I'm gonna push this back. We'll have to adjust this also, maintain this like a panel. Can even smooth all that, but we can't just align this easily. We need some tool, but it's okay. This sounds to be aligned more or less. Okay, so this is a flat, and so here from the, again, let's check now. Now this seems to be aligned with the model sheet, but we might have to reposition this a little. Let's see from a front view perspective. Yeah, so we need to push this up. I don't have a specialized topology here for all the details of the collarbone here, so this is annoying, but we can certainly now play with this and see, like, we can pull this up. So here's the, this will define the, this will define the collarbone, the clavicle. So here we could even get this into a very heavy like just adding a few more edge crease here. Not in here, this will be like interpolation. So this one, right, is the, and here we can stylistically try to manipulate this mesh. So this, try to push forward. And this we try to, yeah, sync like not seeing the shrink to the center. We have these shapes here. I don't like this color here, so I'm gonna change this into something. I don't know, I'm lacking the colors here. This one, okay, we are missing some more geometry here, but here you see exactly where we could be building something. We could cut this and this. Okay, we got this thing going on here, but here we seem to be missing something. But here we can create some, yeah, we can carve a solution right away here with this very tiny faces, but then we use these extra faces to reorganize and let these faces, larger face, get some air, right? So they can breathe, and that means they can get better positionings. So here we have to decide what we do with this sinking vertex with the subdivision surface modifier. So this we can push forward, maybe this two. This we can pull down. Here try to maintain something a little more regular. We're gonna smooth these faces. Getting very weird results here. Yeah, so this is the danger of having irregular geometry in regions like that. It can be difficult to manage. Here don't have enough face loops going around the neck. I feel like we could have a few more get this closer to the joint. Yeah, so you see this anatomic wise is much better even for cartoony, and we could shape better stuff here for these two, but as I mentioned, I need to investigate some mesh topology for the trapezium. I don't have now the cards for that, so I have some reference, but it's just not clear. Some are just too complex, or others do other stuff that is not exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for something that will get some muscles and that will interact properly with this and, well, of course, this. So it's not complicated, but probably there is some sort of, I think, diagonalized chessboard, right, with diamond quads can also work. So I see there's something about this region here, if you want to work with muscles, that we do diagonalize like this, right, instead of regular chessboard. So here it helps the crossing of the muscles. Right, I have something like that, but it's just one face loop, so it will need to be all the mesh, right? It's all across like that. Very beautiful mesh topology that can work for muscles and fascia and all those stuff. So this will be like a next level of this if we want to go more realistic, or even it probably should benefit rigging too. But we should not it's still regular geometry, is just not orthogonal to workspace or something like that. So it's more complex, but it's still interestingly that is still is equivalent to regular geometry. So this probably worth investigating, anyone that is looking for improved rigging techniques for organic rigging. Okay, so maybe leverage this. Yeah, let's try to leverage the trapezium region a little. And smooth this out, yeah. And what about this? Oh, this is sinking. Okay, let's... Here we could benefit if you have... Yeah, if you had better... I think this is this thing here that's causing some... I've decided to... These faces are a bit too large, right? But it should work, but that could cause... Yeah, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... Wow, it's a 7-star pole vertex. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... Yeah. Now that because my arm don't have the feature there, right? What I did for the legs is that what I did for the leg was this. Yeah. Where is this going anyways? Okay. Yeah, so it's a bit weird face loop. It works, but we could do better if we... The problem is, where do I place this, right? If I were to cut here... I did for the outer part... No, it's symmetric, right? So it goes until the joint, right? So it will mean... Yeah, so this will give a little more geometry for the, like, hold shift. So where to go from here? If I remember properly, we were going back, and this will be here, so that will mean that, okay, diagonal and the joint, diagonal on the joint. Yeah, that's it. So here we're gonna do the same thing for the top. Is that it? The top? Oh yeah, we can simplify this. Okay, maybe. So that means we have made one, and this symmetric side will be there. Okay, so here this, then we got this and this, then we got this here, and here we're gonna try to, yeah, the topology will go nuts here. I don't want to go there, so we're gonna try something here. No, I can't do that. Merge at last. dissolve. Okay, we have a diamond quad here, alright. Yeah, for what? Then we have another quad there that, so this is not helping. This trigon, it's not clear that it will be really destructive. We can sort of, it's not optimal, right? But we can survive this. Let's see. Need to solve these edge creases here from no, not these ones. Have something very messed up there. Okay, we're gonna dissolve that. Okay, Shift E -1, Shift E 0.3. There we go. Refabricate them correctly. So here we got this face loop, and at the bottom we need to dissolve this. We're gonna cross here. J and J. And dissolve this one. This one is the critical one. Gonna make Shift E -1, Shift 0.3, Shift edge crease, Shift E 0.3. So here we're gonna reorganize. So this means that this we can sync even more if we want for the shapes. Let's reorganize this. We got more space here. We can probably dissolve this one. Yes, we can dissolve this one if we want, and we've made now this turn into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of 7, and this one I think is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we've made this slight improvement. We need to improve that. We'll need to make maybe another loop around this. I don't know how I did for the previous characters, but the fact is this should be working. So where is the face loop? So I have this one. Yeah. So this is an interesting way to solve this. Okay, so I'm sort of cheating on my own rule that is like a 6 hexagonal limb, right? But tube, right? Instead of that, I'm just making 8, but actually just for the upper arm, upper leg, because they connect to the shoulder and to the hips respectively, and that makes insane amount of new faces that needs to be connected. Otherwise we don't have geometry enough to make good shapes, and wave paint, even not enough mesh topology for doing good wave paint layering, as I call it. So here I think we achieved okay, substantial result for this latest adjustments of this upper torso region, which is can be very tricky. Remembering that neck rigging, neck head rigging, and base neck rigging is not so simple, and it's like a least intermediate joint. It bends in all directions, a bit like the wrist. but it's not so hard to rig for some reason. But different from torso, that from the what happens in the torso is more like the shoulders, upper arm rig, and the hips thigh rig. These are the complex joints, nightmarish, and these will be the hardest ones. So if we can get any topology trick that can help us rigging in the organic rigging on the complex joints, on any joint actually, but especially on the complex joints, that can be very, very beneficial. And to my experience, one of these tricks regarding topology would be smart topology, would be the wave paint layering solution, or wave paint layering mesh topology. So it's like it's a topology that will allow this. It can be even done in low poly, but it's harder. But the concept must be there, maybe at least. Depends on the low poly. So this low poly, like start to go medium poly, but in this low poly model already, still low poly, we could say that here is some wave paint layering. You see, from here to here, even though the topology is a bit weird, right? We still have strategic positioning for these vertices, and they are aligned in some, right? The faces have some alignments, which allows for Zach. Hi, welcome, bro. How are you doing? Yes, just came. I see the upcoming match. So the wave paint layering here. After I've deleted some face here, I'm not satisfied. Let's make this again. Okay. I think I need this one to stabilize here this region of the. Looks, so it's looking weird, right? Just that. So we have. Yeah, so you see there are many layers here of edge loops, or maybe not even edge loop, but some positioning of verts which can help getting smooth wave painting for this this even here. So it's weird topology here, but we get a layering. You see it says layer, you can say layer here, layer here, layer here, and all these vertices, they will be one point of wave painting. How about you? I'm good. Yes, good. So yes, I'm doing fine. Reorganizing some projects here regarding the professional projects and for streaming. So this is a bit tricky, but next week I'm planning on getting, ideally I would like to bring this project to an end, to complete it and go back to something that is more successful, let's say like that, and also more meaningful for myself. So this character here, I want to get into directly this stage of rigging for VRM, right, virtual reality modeling, and I want to sort of. So today is the last day of this week of the stream, anyways. But I'm doing this. Yeah, done this. I fixed that. Transfer mesh to. No, this is something else. Okay, so I'm gonna jump all this stuff and go rigging right now. No, I mean cloth assets, eyes, whatever, and go straight to rigging for the streams. So a lot of work offline, differently for what I was doing for this project, like one by one. So this is, I think this will be more engaging, but maybe I'm wrong. So but yeah, doing fine, but still lots of challenges in the way. So if I can get this thing right, then things will get more exciting for everyone. Okay, so here we got, maybe I smooth this, no, it's this one, yeah, it's this one. The other wave paint layering would be this one. So you have for the hip thigh joint, the leg here, this represents the leg, this is why you have this thing. This is very conceptual, a little technical, because it doesn't mean that it will work. It's even not as good, because actually the leg, well, yeah, let's say that it is bending from here. So, but then we have all these, more like here, like the joint. So these are the wave paint layering for these vertices all around this region. So they will, and then of course here. So you get, and here, and yeah, of course this area will be slightly affected by the leg too, also because of the helper bone. So you have this wave paint layering that is not straight. It could be, but then it's not anatomically correct. So we have this curvature here, just as we have here, and also here, right? So wave paint layering. So it's not just simple edge loops or face loops. It's also the disposition of the vertices and how they are connected. So as long as we have some layering, we can do a gradual wave painting across the joint region in a logical way, and that should provide better results in the skinning for organic rigging. Alright, so I think this is completed, this stuff, right, the topology. So now what I can do, because the character, I'm certainly not gonna reach the clothes here, the cloth assets. This UV texture I'll do after I have the object. So I'll start to model some extra stuff here which are fundamental, like eyeballs, eye coins, arcade stone, hair, yeah, everything here will be the coolest thing to do here. But let's start with the eyes proxy. So because of VRM stuff, which is very, very critically limiting, we're just gonna make some sort of eyeballs here for that will be a proxy mesh. Then we can use this for snapping when doing some shape keys. But no, this technique for the eyes doesn't use yeah, icons. No, we are not gonna use icons for VRM, though this relies entirely on the bone position, bone posing. Actually it could be shape keys too. Yeah, so we won't use the shrink wrapping for the icons here, but we are gonna still use the proxy. We still have eyes mesh objects as a proxy for giving us a proper location of the eye surface, of the eyeball surface that sticks out from the eyelids, right, from the eye cavity. So with this we can use this for applying shrink wrapping modifiers to the eyelids, so then the eyelids will always follow, or we can just for the rest position, or if we can use that for manually snapping, right? Face project, we can use to snap the shape keys, the vertex shape keys into the so that can be also helpful. So it's still even on a VRM rig avatars, we can still benefit in Blender to have this kind of structure. So I'm gonna make a highlight here for building how I do this proxy eyeballs or eye surface major objects. Very simple, but words. No, this is not the. Sorry, that's the emoji basketball icon. Move up. There's the weather things here. So making eyeball proxy mesh object useful even for VRM. Okay, so here we're gonna build that, so it's just like adding a mesh, a cube. Then we can, yeah, we're gonna apply, scale the object, yeah, just, no, yeah, apply, alter transform scale. Then we're gonna go on edit mode, move this up. We're gonna add a mirror modifier without clipping. Then we add a subdivision surface modifier with, I'm gonna even duplicate this. I'm gonna apply the first, so you don't have a cube to start with, you have a sphere to start with. Still on edit mode. Then we got here, gonna swap this to display the object, right? Object tab, display as wire. Right, this is object here, display as wire. I have a shortcut for, you can shortcut this, right? Or change shortcut, yeah. So we can also add to quick favorites, I guess. Where's quick favorites? I don't see quick favorites. Do you see it? No, so apparently, but we can get a shortcut for that. So then now this is a proxy mesh. Gonna call this eyeball, yeah, because they are mirrored. Then we're gonna yeah, it's already applied. The transforms are all correct. It's there, it's fine. So we're gonna move into a proxy mesh thing. So proxy, oh, I have a, okay, so this is for grease pencil. So we can also, yeah, proxy. So this will be just this proxy mesh, which will be so here we are free to do a lot of things here with that. So I'm gonna, maybe I'll need more subdivisions here, right? But basically this is a cartoony character which eyes are not symmetric, so we need to, this could be a single eye surface, but there is an advantage to their counterpart of it. But the advantage of having a two eyeballs, or two kind of, could be eye surface, but the eyeball, I think it's more it's funnier, and it can help because then the corners are smoother. They might be easier to handle when preventing some intersections. So another advantage to have an eyeball, but it takes more time to prepare. Yeah, so this is annoying. The cool thing about this is annoying me, so it's going to the, okay, also probably going to shade smooth here, because it's a shrink wrapping target, or in my case it will be for snapping. I think it snaps to this, to the subdivision here. So we're gonna edit this. So I need it with some subdivisions, right? Here it's a bit hard to see what we're doing because I need to address this in with by looking at multiple things, right? Yeah, you see how bad it is, so I'm gonna move it. Probably need to scale this by a lot. So this is, we need a reference here, right? So this doesn't need to be in any house symmetric, right? As long as it matches the character design. So this can be very corrupted thing, but the cool thing is with this subdivision, right? I used to do this with NURB stuff, but this is very hard to manipulate, and turns out that although it has some very curvy stuff, but here we just more subdivisions, we can get to the same amount of good smoothing, right? And it's very easy then. If we smooth like here, you can, yeah, you can manipulate with proportional editing. It's very it's actually, it can be very elegant very soon. It's not hard to handle. It's very versatile. So this is, I think, is a better technique, better method, besides the fact, unless you need some very perfect, I don't know what that means, curvatures from the NURBs, like procedural stuff. But it's really, the problem is that you have to convert them, and this is to mesh, otherwise they won't get the materials. I think they are very limited object, while the mesh object is very sophisticated. Yeah, so that's okay. So here we are struggling with I don't know what. Yeah, the positioning here probably needs some yeah, we need to do some other manipulations here, because the mirror modifier is not clipping, right? There's no risk in doing this, and so it's okay if they overlap. So the cool thing of having them separated is that even with a mirror modifier, you see this is not UV warp modifier for texture eyes, pupils, irises. So this means that we can have a mirror modifier here, and then the eye coins will be floating on top of it. And what I mentioned, yeah, with separated eyeballs we can pose the entire eye alongside the deforming orbicularis oculi region, right? Forehead, all this cartoony, upper cheek, all this stuff. So this we can manipulate with eye bone, master eye or main eye individually. So this is very cool, and it doesn't matter, it's mirror modifier, so it's bone, so you have symmetrize, you can individually manipulate them, not like I'm doing now, right? So here, yeah, so of course this is for animation inside Blender. For VRM this is not, I think this is not possible, not the way I'm telling at least. So I'm talking about, I was just mentioning some good stuff about this idea here, about this method of making the cartoony eyeballs, right, or eye surfaces. So here I'm struggling a lot with the positioning here. Apparently we need to manipulate more this, and these faces were too protruded, we need to retract them. These apparently are also too I don't have a good this subdivision surface modifier is actually not helping too much, so I think I'm gonna apply again. So this is the, okay, this is a good mesh, yeah. Okay, but on top of this, then we're gonna use another subdivision. Okay, so optimal display, what do you have here? This could be a good one for snapping, at least for shrink wrapping, but if it's too heavy we can just use this instead. Yeah, I can, for me this is, I'm gonna use this. This is enough. So here you have a bit better way to manipulate this mesh, so this now should be easier. So what I want to do is that assuming that my positioning there of these faces of these vertices were more or less correct according to the character design. I just need to adapt this, well, not just, but for now the good, yeah, using proportional editing. This is lifesaver. Can also use the sculpt mode, but see, this is very, very good. Here you see, maybe we would like to have more subdivisions. Here we want some more space for this thing to develop up and down, because if the character would get wide open eyes, then maybe we cartoony, right? We want expressions. We might want to have some threshold of possibilities, right? That's why because some structures like the eyelids meshes and bones, even with shrink wrap bone constraints, they might float on top of these curvatures. It might be important to have these expansions. Of course, we need to be careful about the side here to prevent this. So yeah, the eyes, this cartoon eyes, have very weird shapes, and we need to prevent this gapping. So here it's just a matter of expanding, rotating, whatever. It's very, we don't need this thing here. Maybe we can, actually what we need is GY. Yeah, we can, yeah, we can try to get this thing a little more flatter, and then of course smooth everything. Try to readjust this. You see, it's already matching for the most part the proposed shape of the model sheet. I have to smooth this. If there's something wrong, yeah, there's might be something wrong here, so maybe we could have a different mesh topology for this, so that'll be easier to, I don't know now, but I know that this is sufficient, right? We can work with that. Yeah, so I was missing something about this face loop here. Need to pull this in the correct, so look from the top, from the bottom, looking for the proper organization of this mesh. Maybe here we're gonna, it's a bit hard right now to see what's, yeah, that seems to be nice. Okay, so let's get a less smooth out of that, and that seems to be good enough. Okay, for the demonstration we could probably keep tweaking that, but this seems to be matching the, oops, this seems to be matching the face. And as for the model sheet, maybe a bit too wide. So here we can, now is another step, right? Yeah, perfectly. Here we can make some small adjustments here, depending on the character design. Sometimes the sometimes the eye is more like that, or I don't know if, yeah, there are many aspects to take into account. But now that I have this and that there are no gaps and this flow seems to be fine. Let's see, is there any overlapping here of... Yeah, there is some overlapping, but then it doesn't need to be perfect matching, because now it's approximative, so I think that should work, and we can still be adjusting this. So what we can do now, for me it looks good, even though, yeah, this part maybe it's a bit, but then I saw another angles and it seemed that I was doing wrong. Yeah, that usually so what I'm gonna do instead now, I'm accepting this development here. I'm gonna go for the wire, because why not? Yeah, probably. So I'm gonna go for the face, and now, yeah, let's, instead of wire for now, let's go back to textured. So we're gonna pick these ones, and we're gonna, just for these vertices on edit mode, we're gonna take this off. We're gonna use the face project, yeah, include non-edited, move, rotate, scale, and yeah, so all this face project, and gonna G, move, right, G, and just left mouse click, and so all these were snapped onto the eye surface, re-snapped in case they weren't. They were not snapping anyways. It will be very hard if they would be snapping like coincidentally, even any one of them. I was just positioning this like randomly, so it's unlikely they snapped to the eye surface now, and this from this rest position, right, and probably from the state of the subdivision surface modifier, which was active. So yes, yeah, it doesn't matter. So I can't confirm, but essentially what this will do is that now you have these things, these vertices of the eyelids already in position of the on the surface of the eye, on that wide opening of the eye, which is not the maximum, but right. So of course, if I start reposition now this mesh, this will disrupt these connections, right? So I think the mesh could be a bit smoother here, so we could employ another subdivision, but that's just details, right? You know, with the subdivision surface modifier, this looks quite good. So these details they sort of get solved on their own. So now we get this thing, and now we can get the wireframe. So now the technique that usually employed, so this proxy mesh we don't touch anymore for now. So it doesn't need to be exported in terms of VRM, so we don't bother with it. So it's just a we can still use it for something else, but now what I need to do, and this is for VRM, is like I'm still not super familiar with this technique. Maybe there are better ways, but this is what they do. So we extrude some mesh that will gonna create an eye cavity, and this is very weird because it will receive some emission shader, which would then allow us to fake an eye surface. The emission shader, at least in the case of how to say the name of that VC face, right? It's just so grid, Control F, grid fill, yeah. So you see, we don't want these edge creases. I think this is not necessary here. So this will be very smooth, it's really not super exciting what this thing is, right? So it's like to be the sclera. I don't have a material for anything, but I'm gonna leave it white. And so I haven't changed the position of these ones. This one is particularly delicate because I don't know how to handle it very well. Sometimes we see it, right? This wall here, I don't know yet what to do. It's it works, right? It's not, but we need to be careful. So maybe we, like, it shouldn't show. I'm not totally sure what it should do, right? So it's like we shouldn't be seeing this too much, right? Let's try to make some manipulations here. I don't know, it's very weird right now. Maybe I don't see where it is. Maybe scale out, yeah. There's another one that I've made, so I think this that I can't see right now. Let's dissolve this one. It's too close. No. Yeah, this is bad. So okay, we got it here. GG. There we go. So maybe I try to smooth this. So the eye cavity should be part. It's a mesh that needs to be exported, otherwise you'll have a hole here and you'll see the back face of the skull. And unless the skull, we treat it as the stuff, right? So like the skull, it will be even weirder, right, than an eye cavity. So, but it should work, right? It's because it's just emission shader. So the shapes here of the cavity is not even super important. Yeah, it's not even super important, except for these parts apparently. Alright, and so here we have this very weird stuff, and maybe I try to push this back with proportional editing. Okay, so this sort of should be enough, I think. Then well, there is the non-manifold. How are we doing this technique now? Okay, we did the eye hole. We did two things that I forgot to mention. So we did the eyeballs proxy mesh objects because it's a mirror modifier. Then we did the eye cavities. Now the eye coins, this is very trivial, but it can be tricky, especially rigging. So I'm gonna add a cylinder. No, okay, what was how to start this thing? Okay, let's start with the circle with I don't know, 12. Then go on rotate X, scale, I don't know why it's happening to. No, proportional. No. Okay, scale this. Okay, G, Y. Let's look at the character design here. Yeah, so about this size here. And regarding the here, we will place it like at the front of the. For now, we'll maintain it aligned with workspace because it will be easier to manipulate. So maybe we extrude this inwards, yeah, and maybe here we do some, I don't know, Control F grid fill. That should work, yeah. Probably there's better way to do that, but then scale again. It doesn't look very symmetric though. Yeah, it is symmetric, it's just a bit weird, so maybe it's not the best thing for the wave. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about the wave paint of this, so I think not gonna try to yeah, you can just do this also. So we're gonna make more. So this is about wave paint layering. This is not necessary for the VRM thing. It's more about the. Okay, what is the? Where is this? Is here. So we're gonna call this I coins, and same thing. This will have a mirror modifier and a solidify modifier. This get applied automatically, so on exporting, so we can keep this thing. I think we're gonna solidify. We're gonna solidify backwards. Thickness we can. Why it's not working? We need a mirror. No, wrong object. Sorry. No, I need to. It's not a proxy mesh. Sorry, this is a mesh. Yeah, actually, let's say new. So this is body. Then gonna new. That is eyes. And then whatever is mesh, we. The proxy we leave it blank because ghost mesh. So here yeah, so icon. So here we go. We're gonna probably use a subdivision so it gets a bit smoother. Okay, just one. Then we got a mirror modifier. And yeah, so if you want to see shrink wrap, the trick, this is not for VRM, right? But this won't use the shrink wrap actually. This I would, in a cartoony Blender rigging model, this will be not for VRM, for 3D animation side blend. That will be the shrink wrap bound constraints with a legion of mini deformed bones, regular deformed bones onto this vertex, right? Exactly onto this vertex. And then not all of them, like maybe like about here, 8 bones, like it's sufficient. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, maybe more. Yeah, the more accurate. But in this case, this should be enough. And then a center one that exactly at the center there, and it's the parent of all of them. but each one of them, including the big one in the center, they will be shrink wrapping to that surface. And then of course you need to make a control rig for that, which can be also another very complicated thing. No, that gives some challenge, right? But this trick allows that this will deform, these icons will deform on top of this proxy mesh. Well, in the rig model this will not be, we won't need the eye cavity. We'll turn this into a textured thing, and then just as a regular eyeball, except the eyeball doesn't rotate, right? We're not using the technique of the, as the name of the lattice, because the lattice has a problem with the, I couldn't find a solution for the corners here, at least when we would come up with shrink wrapping feature involved. Maybe it happens on other anyways. It will make the mesh go nuts. We see the polygons pass. It's very weird. We see at close distance it's glitchy, very ugly, and that will destroy it's no solution for that, I think. So I'm not using that at first glance very sophisticated technique, but then come up with some other features, it breaks into this thing, so very frustrating. Okay, so here the icons, but it doesn't have any texture, so it's incomplete. But we could get, for example, let's see, the yeah, so like her iris, like I think this is the size of the, yeah, so we could do this should be enough. So for example, we could say that, okay, it doesn't have a material, so we can get like yeah, so just here so that we see where the things are, right? So we now you can pick the eye, no, the mesh itself. It doesn't need to start this way. We can just rotate here. That just try to get it as close as we can to the rest position, right? Yeah, it will have to distort some of the orientations. This is frustrating, but it doesn't matter, because this is a very simple mesh to make, as you see. So we can, if we mess it up, we can just recreate from scratch. But yeah, ideally would preferably to do this with the object, right? But then I will mess, if I apply, I'll mess up everything again. So you see, this doesn't really matter. The thing is still very symmetric, and it's just about positioning of the bones, right? So it really doesn't matter the orientation of this. If it is tilted, it will just shrink wrap as best as it can, so it in the Blender rig type, right? So here we can also extend this a little. Yeah, this is good enough. Now we bring here a solidify, and the solidify, the idea is that it will sink inside the shade smooth, sink inside the right the eye, and that's it. And is that that's too much, right? So we want some margin there just in case. So but this is too much, so we can just, I think half that is, no, this half that. Now this might be a little too little, so let's try just that. Yeah, that sounds fair enough. And if it's okay now if it's protruding too much, because with the shrink wrap bone constraints on the deformed bones, it will reposition itself correctly in the shrink wrapping distance that we want. But it's okay that this is floating like that. It's just weird. It's just welcome to CG art. It's bizarre. Everything is weird. So okay, then we get here the icons done, right? Now we can bring this back to wire. Okay, so there is the eyelids issue. I don't have the model. Yeah, I'm not gonna look at the model that I have for this, but I think we can do a, it says I extrude here. This mesh is connected. I can disconnect it actually with V. Maybe it's not a bad idea. So we're gonna disconnect it. We're gonna hide this vertex. The face is still there though, so what we're gonna do is that we're gonna, it's the same mesh object. We're gonna start to extrude from here the eyelids, and so here we're gonna start to make, yeah, so here we're gonna start by just gonna hide the icons, and we're gonna make some subdivisions here. This topology is good enough for the eyelids. So the eyelids, yes, need shrink wrapping, but this shrink wrap will be just temporary. It will be like a hanging around, right? It's just for the blender thing. On surface, yeah, outside surface actually, and here this offset could be 0. I don't know, maybe onto the eye surface. What's happening? I don't know what's going on. Okay, maybe I need to hide this. It's not possible to see what's going on. Okay, of course. Yeah, what's happening, of course, is that I need to indicate what is the shrink wrapping mesh, and of course the shrink wrapping mesh will be the ones of the, so I'm gonna make a target vertex group for this shrink wrap modifier. Mod shrink wrap eyelids. This will not be exported, but okay, one waves for all that. So now we need to use the target vertex group for this on the shrink wrap. Here, and now we got now we can probably play with this on object mode, and we can say that, so it's targeting the eyeball, right? So we're gonna get a positive value of no, I think the face, okay, something is weird. I think the eyeball is, okay, hold on, this, yeah, those faces are reversed. I don't know why. So flip, Alt N, recalculate outside. There we go. Alright, so now we return here. Wire. We don't need these normals. We're gonna change the color of this so you can realize they are the eyelids mesh, right? Then we need to make sure that this thing is shrink wrapping. Yes, so where's the yes, so what I'm saying, so here just let's do a Control Alt left mouse button, click here, Shift E 0.3. okay, then yes, so I need to, I'm gonna snap this, but we gonna select all this higher. I'm gonna pick these ones, and I'm not sure this snapping will gonna work here. No, not this, just the snapping. Is it snapping? Yeah, it's snapping to the wire there. So even though it's the object is there, so it's, I think it's recognized. Yeah, it's in front. So I don't know what is the position of this. Of the eyelids, the top, I think you see here. So I'm gonna try to reposition this at the proper locations. This we don't touch. Yeah, I can touch, but this all distort little the character design. This is the outer edge, so this is like the lid crease where we connect the, no, it's not even that. Wait, it is that. Okay, because actually I'm confused. This is the lid crease, top and the bottom, right? And so here what we're just positioning this like they are connected mesh, right? So we need to abstract a little here, but basically it's very simple. We are just using this topology here, circular topology, right? Face loops, to get these positionings. So you need to get good arrangement of this, is very important. Regular organization here, and the skinning will do the rest. Or in the case of VRM, it will be just shape keys, right? And this could be complicated for a so big eye. Yeah, the way the shape keys work, we might need some extra shape keys. I never tried this, but see, I positioned the wrong one, but it's okay. So here I'm doing a mistake. That let's also do this. I need to address to check if this is wave painted. Yeah, so we subdivided here. It sticks with the full waves there. So these are shift E 0.3. So we're gonna do another, so bevel here. So this amount of, okay, hold on, this amount of GG, select all GG, this amount of geometry, face loops, it's sufficient, edge loops are sufficient for, is sufficient for this this kind of rig, either for shape keys, even for the blender thing, which will be the, I don't know what's happening here. It looks like we have some thing that has snapped in the wrong position. Okay, so just to make sure, I don't know what's happening, gonna go back to texture, gonna make sure that all these are snapping right to the eye surface. And okay, probably I snapped something else into wrongly. Maybe this one, GG, let's see. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so something went wrong here in the snapping. Let's reposition here. So okay, this, yeah, so this is a bit dangerous. It's like the eyeball there is start to get too far there and starts to get messed up. Also we need the subdivision surface modifier. So what I'm missing here in my rig of the eyelids is also the, so if this start to be annoying, we just hide. Yeah, I think we have a mistake there about, I'm gonna move no snap here. Let's move this outside, because remember I separated the mesh. Maybe it was stacking. Yeah, it was stacking. So there's a gap here which could be a problem, but it's at any time this is ready to be right, bridge edge loops, right? I don't know what is this. Oh yeah, it is a problem here. This wasn't snapped properly, I think. Yeah, this is not snapped. It's all weird. I'm gonna fix this by going back to texture just to make sure this is correct. Gonna pick this and gonna snap this. No, snap. Okay, let's just pick this one. Snap from that angle. That seems to have worked or not. Yes. Then let's do again. Try to find an angle that is easier to do all this at once. We have a problem in this part, so this is because the meshes are too close, right? So this is because the character in the character design, yeah, because many things, but one of them is because the character design is, if the eyelids were more closed, it will be easier to spread them apart, right? Okay, so now this mesh seems to be well organized. Yeah, it looks like perfect. We can probably smooth this one. I don't even know what is this subdivision here. I think this is a mistake. Yeah, I'm gonna dissolve this one because it's mispositioned. I'm gonna just yeah, do again here. Beveling this, no, it doesn't work, so I'm just gonna make a subdivision here and maybe it's not snapping perfectly. There's a mistake there. What is this vertex? I think this is the, yeah, it's the eyeball thing, right? The eye cavity. Very weird thing that is happening there. Yeah, I don't know what this vertex here. Very suspicious. Yeah, so this again, this mesh is annoying me. I'm gonna fix that later, right? So what we can do now, unfortunately, there's another thing here. Now we have conflict. If I want to maintain this direction of VRM rig or rig model or Blender 3D animation rig model, because now we have a problem, is that in my rig I would need to expand these walls of eyelids backwards, right? And well, this could work for this is shrink wrapping, so you need to take this off from the, I call this the eyelids border. It's not exact, it's the eyelids walls, so we're gonna, this is very simple. I need to take this off from remove, right? So they don't shrink wrap. So here you have some walls. This will be very annoying to shape key, right, to morph, but we don't need these walls, I think, for the cartoony, or but it is doable, right? Like, they probably can help, right? GG. Like, it's just, we said that the shrink wrapping is going a bit too far, right? So we're gonna try something more like this, right? It still look too much, so 20, something like that is good. So now this wall doesn't stick too much. So okay, we can use this wall. We can keep it, but it will be boring to shape key that. Fortunately, the eyelids shape keys for this are very simple. So we can have, of course, non-manifold mesh, but it can be okay, I can't select this. This is horrible. Let's try to isolate this mesh here. Yeah, we could like build. No, it doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, so they get good positionings though, so let's try to connect back this stuff that I destroyed because it seems to just causing some trouble. So currently I don't have non-manifold mesh. I think it's a problem, at least the system report, but it doesn't mean that will make the ending software crash or anything like that. I don't know what is this. Oh, it's because of the how I completed this. So it's likely that we could benefit from, yeah, we will benefit from making extra. Yeah, let's even do this, right? Probably we can benefit from this simple thing, right? So we got something more, right? But then we got a problem with, yeah, there's some weird stuff happening there with the with these vertices. I'm not sure what it is. Did I? Oh, it looks like that the many weird stuff going on. It's like I have moved some stuff here. It's like these faces here, they stopped snapping onto the. Let's hide these ones. So just care about. Yeah, I'm doing this again. It's just a revise. Apparently we got wrong positionings for the snapping. There we go. Remember that this is not connected mesh. So I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna make the non-manifold. Fuck this thing. So I'm gonna merge. Actually, I'm gonna. So this will help because then this mesh will stop collapsing and going crazy. So you're gonna bring this face loop here, GG. I'm gonna dissolve that. Yeah, I'm gonna, what is this crazy thing? This, apparently we need some to complete here. Okay, so I'm gonna dissolve that. So, oh yeah, I need to do this again, right? So I don't know what this is creating. It's creating some aberration there. Oh yeah, this is a mesh that is not, it's hidden, right? So we don't connect this, so we can leave it invisible, but no, actually we're gonna, instead of doing, can I bevel? Yeah, we can do this. So this is what I'm gonna do now. And then here I need to make sure that, yeah, the vertex group should be correct. But then I need to reposition, make sure I reposition these ones. Oh, this mesh seems very incorrect actually. Yeah, I see. It's sort of overlapping crazily, right? So we need to fix this. I think I snapped accidentally. Yeah, so this will mess up some stuff, but I absolutely need to fix this positioning here. It looks very weird. Yeah, it's snapping. This thing is going inwards there because it's not completely wrong anatomically, but what it's trying to do is they are trying to find the eye, and the eye is like going backwards, and yeah, it's causing some trouble. So maybe we'll have to reposition this manually. Yeah, very annoying. So at all costs, mixing, rigging stuff, right, it should be avoided, right? It's experimental and usually cause this kind of trouble. So here we got a better, I think I have too much. No, it's like 3 face loops for the eyelids. Yeah, this is good. 2 face loops will be too little for better deformed, at least when it comes to skinning, right? Yeah, here, so you see it goes there. So you need to prevent that by expanding the eyeball. Cannot go like it needs more expansion to the side, so otherwise, and this is going crazy because it's a clipping then, very critical. So this is not good. The setup was not good there, but you see it's easy to fix. I'll have to remake the shape of the make this cavity here, like bend this eye so it is flatter there, following more this curvature, not going like inwards here. It's too much, right? Dipping too much. Here also could happen, much easier to happen here. Yeah, so for example in this case would be like proportional editing, very easy. We're gonna try to pick these ones, and then without snapping but with proportional editing, we're gonna like here. I don't know what was that, some crazy thing that this mesh, oh, it is, the mesh was not clipping but it was trying to merge. Let's change this. We don't want any merge here. Yeah, no merge, no clipping. Forgot that. So can accidentally cause some merging if the vertices match exactly the position. Very unlucky. That could happen. So here we got this thing a little more organized. Let's try to smooth this a little. Yeah, so we're gonna now reposition this these face loops here. snap without proportional editing. Let's try to find the frontal view where we see everything fairly, and now that might be a little better. Yeah, I still be not perfect, but should be improvement. Then we got back to here, and so I'm doing this like because I still want to reuse this character for Blender. So but what I'm doing is certainly not recommended. Either one or the other, right? Not trying to do VRM, and notably doing VRM and versatile, it's like scrap. It's too complicated. So here we're gonna try to match the face loops, right? Bridge edge loops. I hope this will work. No, it doesn't work. So I don't know what went wrong here. Besides the face, besides the fact the faces seem very weird. I don't understand these faces actually. What face is that? Okay, this is very weird looking from the inside, so it looks like there's something wrong about these things. But what I want essentially, yeah, I'm gonna hide this stuff. It doesn't matter because what we want is just yeah, let's I might be in... Okay, let's do manually, whatever. So these are creating the demonic non-manifold structure, and yeah, it is bridged manually. No, there was a... Okay, so that means this was wrong. Okay, so we have everything in... Okay, so we're gonna... Oh, no. Actually... Wait. Yes, actually... Yes, so this is a mistake. So we don't want this. We want to connect this as bad as it is. We will do that, yeah. So we're gonna dissolve this, and here we got a lot of problems, and we gonna do this and do this, but then we have this some mesh here that we need to fix. First this thing gonna dissolve. Yes, is that it? There's some weird face here that yeah, very weird face. We need to... Yeah, let's delete this face. Let's see what happened. I think I connected the wrong... And here I believe there is... Yeah, there is a face there, definitively. And this edge crease is... .3. Okay, then we don't touch this face loop, but we can indirectly affect its face by smoothing, for example, this one, and then we can try to manipulate this in all sorts of ways as long as it doesn't intersect. Let's also fix these materials. White. Okay, so this is sounds regular. Enough, right? We can expand these. Yeah, this is very dangerous to be manipulating. Then we, yeah, so one mistake that I've made is that when I splitted these vertices, ripped them, then I've repositioned the eyelids base there, the lid crease positioning, and then it made everything more difficult to manage, right? So maybe not split them now, just in the end, right? Okay, so we got this structure very, very tricky. So you see, we got now the proxy, the icons, oh, there's a problem here. We need to, yeah, so here looks like that. I don't understand why this is going like the shrink wrap is disabled. Maybe, yeah, it is disabled, but it's not 0.1. let's see, no, 0. Okay, so 0.01 is too much, so 0.001, 0.002, about this is the good amount, or sometimes something in between there, so maybe like 15. This there's a little problem there. This we can, but again, this is not like, yeah, let's just leave. This is like another rig, so it doesn't need for the VRM. Here, if I were able to reposition this just a little closer, we could reduce this this amount of solidify, and it will look less weird in a first glance. Of course, it should be below the behind, right? So we might have to tackle this differently here. Like it's just a repositioning, right? So probably I'll need to move this back, right, inside the eye, so this will allow us to, I don't remember how I did in the other character that I made for VRM, but the fact is that that other character I wasn't combining techniques, right? So for a multi-use purpose rig, so project, so it's like that might be the reason I did different. Yeah, I just pushed these icons inside probably. I'm gonna check that later. I don't like how the nose here seems to be flattened or uninteresting from this angle. Looks like incorrect, so I'm not sure what is going there. Or it's just the faces which are looking very weird, right? There's probably more than that than I know right now, but that should help. Yeah, that should help. Also, since there's anime stuff, nose mask, mask, then it's probably much tinier nose than. So I need to manage these faces maybe differently here. Okay, I'm not satisfied, but entirely, but that should be okay. What's next? That yeah, something weird there, but in principle we shouldn't be using the shrink wrap on, and also we shouldn't be using this on also after. So hold on. Place that wire, and we hide the proxy, right? And so this is what we are actually needing here, and we're going, so it's like you forget everything, right? Else we just need this, and so probably here we're gonna move this behind the eyelids, or sort of, and I think it will shrink wrap to the eye anyways, right? So even it start behind, so but not to shrink wrap modifier, shrink wrap bone constraint. This is not for VRM, of course, as I already explained. So this it might not really matter, but in principle I wanted to shrink wrap to something I place on top, not behind, right? But behind should also work, behind the normals, right? Okay, so I think, folks, this is for, yeah, then arcades, tongue, yeah, I usually don't like to make those things. This character won't have, yeah, she'll have like canines, very exaggerated canines maybe. Then tongue, cat-like tongue, right? Tinier, thinner, flatter tongue, so must think about that. And hair, for the hair will be much more interesting, but I need everything, right? So the hair will be the so if I look here at the reference, just to remember what, yeah, so this is part of the hair. Oh, she has, I totally forgot, actually her ears are substituted by these fluffy parts of, I don't know how to call these cones here. So yeah, I mean, this is very characterized at the moment without the clothing. There are many custom ideas here. I think this one is the best, but this one could also work, but or a combination of the two maybe. So the idea would be that, yeah, I'll have to, as for the hair is usually the same thing, right? I think this one is the best, but maybe also a combination between this and this. And so maybe I should make a hair stuff on top of her ears, so it's like hair covering the ears, and then I model the elvish gnomes ears there. Yeah, so this is for myself, so like hair cover ears. Then we get also gnomes ears, because so she's like a necromancer that has like hiding some features, like except the tail. But okay, so folks, here I think we'll have to finish my plan. Then if anyone is watching and listening, so my plan will be to be doing this as much as I can here offline before I bring back the continuation. Probably I won't have time until Monday to finish all that. It's too much. I have other priorities, and it's weekend. I'll try nonetheless to start the rigging. Yeah, so all this will be like for myself, and I'm gonna start doing this stuff, even though some rigging features will not be enabled, like, well, hair all those stuffs might not be part of the shape keys, right? So I need to focus actually on the stuff which are, yeah, I need to focus on the stuff that are going to be for the arcade and expressions, right? So arcades and tongues. So actually all the rest, yeah, is body rigging, right? So even the hair is not entered in this. They use spring bones, so it's not priority. So this is really the priority that I should be readying for Monday. Then we can, it would be nice to have everything, but we won't be able to see what, at least this thing should be nice, and then we start building this yeah, and then I'll try to bring her with costume already done and skin texture, all that, because those things may be fun to watch, but I think this is my priority here regarding something didactical, because they are good content about this, but more content is not bad. So different experience maybe will interest some folks out there. So thanks folks, thanks for watching, take care, happy blender, have a nice weekend, and good luck on your projects. Take care, see you soon, or whenever possible. See ya folks.